people buy because you gave value first. So when you are creating videos, okay, in your video, if you give value and give useful information that the person uses, and it finds that it does them good, right? They want to give back to you, they will buy from you. Okay. Scarcity, if your product is niche, if your USP is niche, and people love that niche because you love your product because it's unique, they will buy from you, right? Authority, people buy from you because you are the subject matter expert. When you say something, it means something, and it has been proven that the thing that you say works. People trust you, people will buy from you. Consistency, people buy from you because you consistently deliver products of a good standard, right? Liking is very, very common because people like your product. They will buy from you. If they like you, they will buy from you. Okay. And social proof. People buy because it's recommended by their friends, and this is also very common. So may be recommended by a friend or by a celebrity that is endorsing your brand. That is social proof, right? In each of these points, you can create a certain kind of video, create content from these 6 points, and then post it up on a consistent basis to help educate your clients. Okay, so how to tell a good story? In order to tell a good story, you need to have some marketing background, or rather some marketing knowledge to tell a good story. Because first of all, you need to be able to identify your customer segment, right? Once you know the people that you are reaching out to, all right, and what they like and where they shop on, especially online, then you research for the topics for that customer segment. Okay, research for the platform and the media to use. Platform meaning it can be YouTube, it can be Facebook, it can be Instagram, it can be TikTok, right? And the kind of media to use, whether to use photos, whether to use videos, whether to use GIFs, depending on, it all depends on what the customer likes to see and whether it relates to the product or service that you are providing, right? Then you produce the video or the digital media, digital content, and publish it, right? The last step is what a lot of people lack, or rather forget, okay, which is to gather and review statistics. So engage with your with people who like your video online, because the whole social media space is for engagement actually. So if you are able to engage and find out feedback, okay, so gather reviews, gather statistics, and then use that data to improve content for the next topic that you are going to push it out, so that you will be able to continually improve the digital media content that you push out in order to have a better reach and more efficient reach to the customers that you want to reach out to, right? So there's a little bit of marketing knowledge that you need to know. Then after that is the kind of content to produce, and then after that is review, and then you work around in circle again. Okay, so this is the workflow for content creation. Then you may ask, what's the definition of content creation? So this is what content creation is. Content creation is the ability to identify the value, okay, so the value of your product or service, and produce useful, positive, and real videos or photos to educate and emote your audience, right? Once your customers are moved by your useful, positive, and real content that you produce online, they will naturally want to buy a product from you. All right. And there are different types of purposes, right? So there are different types of purposes that you are creating content for. So you need to identify whether you are creating for advertisement purposes. So advertisement is usually a short video, okay, 30 to 60 seconds, posted for a certain period of time, maybe 1 month. So that's an advertisement. And then advertisement changes from season to season to season. Or is it for branding, right? Okay, so for branding video, you might be doing one very good 3-minute video, for example, like a company profile video, and then you post it on your website or Facebook page as the main video to explain what your company does. Or for engagement is for produce things like giving tips. Okay, so if you sell makeup products, right, you give tips on how to use your products, how to make yourself look better, how to have better skin. All these are for engagement, continual engagement. So you have short videos that gives very useful, valuable tips on a constant basis, right? So every 2 weeks or every week you post something up, and this is constant engagement. Or is it just for a one-time announcement service, right? Public service announcement for like say, like this during this COVID period, this product that you are selling actually helps, keep the germs out or clean the germs or kill the germs, in line with whatever the government has said, right? Or is it just for entertainment, meaning that you are out there just to make people laugh, just to entertain them. But in that entertainment, you can educate your clients as well, right? So don't miss out on that chance. So the different platform, the different types of content belong to different types of platform, right? So for videos, there is Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube, TikTok, live streaming and stuff like that. There are podcasts, so only verbal. Okay, so you can put interviews or on iTunes or Spotify for on the podcast. If you have written content, if your product requires a lot of writing, then create a blog. You're reaching out to businesses, you put it on LinkedIn. You're reaching out to general public, you can put it out on Facebook, on Twitter. Images belong to Pinterest, Instagram, Tumblr, Facebook, right? So you need to know the different types of media should go onto what kind of platform. This is this information that is taken off Hootsuite, and this shows the kind of social media that is being used around the world, right? As you can see, there are a lot of people on social media itself. So if you are running a business, 100% you need to be on social media. But what type of platform depends on the kind of products or services that you are providing. And the kind of how digital media is around the world is impacting us, right? And the world's most used social platforms are as listed, as you can see. So this may help you to prioritize how much you spend on each platform. Again, it depends on the age group that you are in. So if you are targeting the younger age people, then you might go into Instagram or TikTok, okay? Because in just the recent like half a year, TikTok has moved up the charts quite a fair bit. So which platform should you use? You've seen so many platforms that were listed out just now. Facebook is good for images, okay, and mid to long form videos, right? Okay, so if you have mid to long form, you're talking about say like a minute to like maybe 15 minutes kind. Okay, nobody really watches an hour-long video on Facebook, but on YouTube, people will watch a whole drama series, an hour, 45 minutes, an hour and a half on YouTube. So YouTube is good for long form videos. Each of these platforms, the back-end algorithm is made to support different types of videos and social media, digital media content. So you need to know the kind of media that you have and where it should go on. So if you want to reach out to younger people on TikTok and on Instagram, then you need to know that it's all short form videos. Okay, Instagram, you can have images. TikTok is mostly and 100% videos. So you need to know what kind of digital media content goes onto what type of platforms to reach out to what kind of clients that you want to reach out to. If you are interested to reach out to business, so you are doing B2B business, then LinkedIn is the place that you should be in. And LinkedIn supports images, short to mid-length videos, written articles, and it should be posted on a regular basis so that you keep engaging the people, right? So there are also other platforms. WhatsApp and Telegram business accounts are getting very popular for announcements, right? To keep in touch with your customers. And so actually, so you need to really know what your customer segments and how they react to social media, what kind of social media platforms they react on. So we know what kind of content that you have to create. Now is how to create the content. I'm just splitting this down the middle and then putting it into two distinct groups, right? One is to curate, to create from scratch a video, okay, on how on whatever you want to tell your customers, and the other is to document. So let's say creating. So you run a restaurant, and you are the chef, for example, and you open the restaurant because of a certain history that that you have that inspired you to become a chef, and therefore you have opened a restaurant. So you can create that video to tell that story of that of why you are doing what you're doing and how you have ended up where you are, right? And the other way is to document the process. So documenting is a lot more real and a lot more raw. Okay, so it's not as crisp and may not be as professionally done as creating, but it also gives you that feel of being real and being authentic. So that process can be, if you are a chef again, okay, let me just use this example, that you are preparing a special dish or a new dish, okay, you can prepare and you can shoot the process of preparing the dish, right? From the time you source for the ingredients, so you're telling your customers that your ingredients are freshly sourced from environmentally safe farmers, right? And that's how you clean, and that's how you prepare, and that's how you cook, and that's how you present. So this whole thing is documenting, and it can be done off the cuff. It can be done a little bit shaky to give that real and authentic feel, right? So these are two distinct ways to create videos. And of course, inside you have to have that content to attract your customers. So talking about attracting, when you create these videos, you have to create it in a way where you capture attention, right? Get the viewers' attention right at the very beginning. You have to give value. So after you capture the attention, you need to give them a reason to stay. So you give value, and then at the end, you build trust, right? By engaging in the comments with your viewers, right? So you ask them to past clients to leave a review. You ask you can get feedback from new clients, or what do you think of it, and then you improve from there. And when you are creating a video, I'm going to share with you next how to create a video, okay? How to easily come up with content, okay, to create your videos. The way to go is always to start with why. So why do you want to, for example, let me use back the previous example of documenting the process of showing them how you source for your products to the final presentation. Why are you doing that documenting video? Okay. The reason is because firstly, you want to tell your clients that you are a responsible business owner, that you source and you buy from responsible farmers, right? And then of course to tell them that you're using the freshest ingredients. Then you are telling them the process of how it's been done. You show them the skill. You show them that you are the subject matter expert. You show them that you are doing things the right way. And then of course at the end, you show them the finished product and why they have to come and eat, because it looks good. Come down and taste it, right? You can't taste it from the video, right? So the reason why is a very good and very strong foundation to start off of thinking about any kind of content that you want to create. So this is the golden circle, which Simon Sinek. I'm not sure if you heard of him. For those who have, and those who haven't, there is a website, simonsinek.com. Go find out and listen more about how he explains about the golden circle. But the main gist of it is that it always have to start with why, and why always comes from deep in your heart. Okay, later I'll share a couple of examples of whys, and how it relates back to what I'm doing. And then after the why, you tell people the how and then the what, for your content that you are producing. Okay. One way to check, okay, whether your why is good enough, okay, this is just one way, and it's through my own experience, that you can double check your why by checking if it's a fact, if it's an experience, if it's the truth. Right? If you can fulfill all these three, and I'm very sure that you'll be able to come up with content that is like that people will like. Right. So for example, if you are trying to build your business profile video, okay, this is the way that I would usually approach. Okay, I will approach it from the first thing I always ask is, why do you do what you do? Okay, when you are able to answer that question, okay, the three points at the bottom will usually be ticked. Okay, your fact, experience, and truth, backed by science, history, and honesty. All right, and if you're able to answer that why, that big question why, you will also be able to come out with the cause, purpose, and belief in why your product is like that, and why you are doing what you are doing. Okay, so this thing, starting with why, is a very important point, and a very important foundation that I rely on for the foundation of my business and the way that I produce my videos for my customers as well. And at the end of the day, I think ultimately we have to be as real and as authentic as possible. And to do that is just to be you, because everyone is unique. Everyone grew up in the different environment with different experiences, right? To be you gives you that unique character to stand out, so that the product or service that you are providing will stand out from the rest. So everyone may be selling the same Apple product, for example. Okay, but if you are a reseller, right, of an Apple product that uses your own experience of how the product has changed your life, and that sits with the customers that you are reaching out to, the potential customers that are reaching out to you, immediately they would come to your shop to buy the product instead of other people, right? But everyone else is selling the same product, right? So you being real, being authentic, and being yourself, sharing the experience of how that product has affected you will do the trick of pulling the customer over to your site. Okay, so let me just give you a couple of a case study based on my own experience, my own life story, of if I were to be, for example, say a real estate agent. Okay, I would use my experience of how I lived out of my office for 3 years, working day and night nonstop, to tell my clients that, how important I know that it is, how important it is, to have a home to go back to have a house to call your home, right? So from my own experience, I'm relating to them the importance of having your own home in order to sell a property. Or I could, if I'm an insurance agent, Okay, I used my experience of how my father-in-law only paid 1,545 for a 25K operation, and this is how much money insurance has saved. How much money we have saved just buying insurance. Or let's say if I'm a chef, okay, so if I'm not a digital media producer, I would probably be a chef, because more than half of my family are in food related businesses, and of course the constant meetup at my auntie's place and with my uh, 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 late grandmother preparing dishes, it has inspired me to carry on that tradition of making those dishes and possibly come up with a fusion of how to mix environmental friendly ingredients with the traditional dishes that my grandmother used to make. But I think the most important one is why I became a photographer in the first place. This is true to me because I am a very forgetful person. So I don't remember anything like from last time, from the past. I like 12 years old and before, I don't have much memory of it. And only because I started photography at 13, 14 years old, then I started to remember things because photographs help me remember. And I would like to use that to help my clients, right? So that is the main reason why I became a photographer. Okay. So just remember, to tell a good story, you have to be authentic, be real, be you. I'm just gonna, because I'm running a bit short of time, I'm just gonna skip past this. Okay. Briefly, just tell you that this young boy went to the States when he was very young, at 11 years old. And while growing up, he realized that his life story is very different from the rest of his classmates. He started sharing his friends started asking him to collate all these stories into a book, and therefore he wrote a book. He's none other than Kevin Kwan, okay, the writer of Crazy Rich Asians, and as we all know, it became one of a best-selling novel. Plus, it became a movie. So what I'm trying to tell you here is that your own stories are the most powerful stories to tell, right? You don't need to tell anyone else's story. Tell your own story from your own point of view, but put in things, put in information to educate your clients about the product that you are able to relate to. All right. So in short conclusion, the main thing to remember is just get started. Okay, nothing is perfect. Find something that you enjoy the most within the product that you're selling, right? Or the service that you are giving. Okay, and then keep doing it because it forces you to improve and learn more along the way. All right. So just before I hand things back over to John, there are just a few announcements to make for Canon Imaging Academy. There is a course, a videography for business. So the last 40 minutes or so, what I'm going to do is to so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to expand minutes into extreme detail, produce a good video within these 2 days of videography for business course. It is SkillsFuture credit course, and if you are interested, please go to Canon Imaging Academy's website and sign up by tomorrow evening before 2359. The official sign up date has already been closed, but because of this session, Canon is actually extending it to tomorrow evening. So if for those who are interested, please go ahead and sign up for it. On top of that, there is a product photography course that's coming up as well. And this is to teach you how to present your products in the best light, right? How to light your product so that it looks good on pictures. And this is also a SkillsFuture credit eligible course, right? So go find out how much you have in your SkillsFuture credit. And if you have enough and you're interested, please sign up for it. one of the last things that I want to tell you is that currently we are running a limited time promotion. Okay, this is valid until again tomorrow. To that, take note of the promo code. Okay, TAKE 55 off. Take 55 off, and you will be able to get $55 off the M50 body or kit, or the M6 Mark II, okay, body or kit. It excludes the M6 Mark II bundles. The Canon M6 is it's a very good travel camera. It's a very good small and compact camera that is very fast to respond. So the two things that I like about it is the shutter and is how fast it focuses. All right, and the continuous shooting rate, it's really very fast. All right, so I am open to take any questions now if there are any. If not, then I will pass this time back to Jonathan.
Thank you, Bernard. So right now we'll now move ahead with the Q&A session. So we do feel free to just post the questions that you have in the chat, and we'll just proceed from there.
So yeah, just say a hi, a great shout out to Dion. Dion, thank you for joining in. A pleasure to have you here. I've learned great things from you, Dion. And Gaudi, I haven't seen you for so long, bro. I hope you are doing fine. Okay, so that's Kai Chua has asked. So when you run out of idea for content creation, what do you do? Okay, so there are many ways to find ways to create content, right? One way is to go back to that 6 points of influence, psychology of influence, right? From there, you can do a mind map of each point, and then each point, if each point can come out with 5 or 6 different points, you have 5 or 6 different videos times 6 points, you already have 30 different types of videos to do already, right? And after you have finished this 30, okay, you will, what happens is that you will be able to gather feedback, right? Like the content creation workflow, right? After you post it up, you get your feedback from people, and then you try to do a better version of it next time, right? So that's one way. The other way is to do a video to educate your clients for each product that you sell, right? If you have 10 products, you have 10 videos, and then you can one product, you can tell them, you can teach them about you can break it down into small little segments, right? Okay, so you can teach them on how to use it, right? And how it can improve your life, and how it can use in conjunction with your other products. So actually, in terms of trying to create content, there is almost a million ways to think of how to send the message out to your clients. So the first thing you have to ask is ask yourself whether what you want to tell your clients. Okay, so you make a list of that. And then you match it up with the 6 points of psychology of influence, and then with that multiplying with each other, you have really a lot of videos to go on for at least a year or two. So you need to be able to plan out your videos, okay, or your content, when to post what, and maybe you sometimes you have to put it in conjunction with, like, National Day is coming up, right? So post a video regarding a certain product to launch for National Day. Then you have a Christmas, then you have the New Year, then you have, so you need to actually do a proper plan of your social media plan of when to post what month by month, and you've got to think of what you want to tell your clients. That is the best way to start, right? Okay, so this is if there are no questions, any not sorry, if there are no further questions, and my tongue just got tight, you may want to visit shop.canon.com.sg. Okay, is where you are able to find the offer for this Canon EOS M6 Mark II. Right. So thank you all. Thank you for listening to this presentation. I hope it has given you some ideas on the kind of content that you can produce. If you have any more questions, please feel free to leave it in the group chat, and I will answer your questions along the way. Thank you very much, and Jordan, back to you.
Hi Bernard, are you able to put your email in the chat, in this Zoom chat, because there's some participants that speak to me privately,
Sure.
ask for email.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not a problem.
So you just drop your email in the chat itself.
Okay, great.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay, great. So I'll now move on to our next speaker. So in the meantime, if you still have any questions pertaining to Bernard's presentation, please feel free to put the questions that you have in the chat. So now I'll move on to our next speaker, Philip Wong. So Philip is the CEO and co-founder of Vision Group Corporation. So Philip is a Singapore certified management consultant that specializes in e-business, franchising, and branding, with more than 20 years in the business of e-commerce. So he's one of the first few sellers on eBay in 2004. He sold more than 20 million items online. So in 2013, he co-founded a e-commerce technology company called Shang Commerce Private Limited, which deals with B2B and B2C solutions to companies. And they managed to get listed on AXX within 3 years of startup. So today he's the co-founder and the CEO of Vision Group Corporation, a blockchain technology company that focuses on empowering companies to drive adoption of blockchain-based solutions. So he'll be speaking on the e-commerce systems itself. So with that, Philip, you can share your screen.
Hi guys. Okay, let me share my screen. I'll just try to share my screen now. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Hope yes. Okay, anyway, my name is Philip. It's been really quite a while that I've not talked about e-commerce. I've been focusing a lot on my consultancy business, and at the same time as what Jonathan have introduced, I've been really busy on Vision, mainly on the blockchain stuff as well. Yep, let me see some comments. Just hang on for a while, just trying to orientate myself. Okay, cool. So I don't want to do too many things on like theoretical stuff, right? So I'm an e-commerce seller. I started from eBay in 1999 actually. So it's been really 20 years of e-commerce. So I'm one of the first sellers on eBay without even a single eBay staff in Singapore. So we started selling mainly overseas. 99.99% of my customers, for my first group of customers online, are actually overseas. So I don't sell to Singapore because I'm a GSC registered company at that point of time. So if you can imagine 20 years ago, when people don't trust online or e-commerce for that matter, people will always ask for a meetup in the MRT station, or they want to take a look, or they bargain, and sometimes they don't turn up. In fact, even to this day, right? Sometimes you do a meetup, the guy will say traffic jam and things like that. So that's really a C2C kind of e-commerce that I started with 20 years ago, right? So I want to quickly start on what's the critical success factors of e-commerce. A lot of people don't understand how some people can make a lot of money out of e-commerce. Some businesses are able to transform their business or traditional mom and pop shops, retail shops, traditional B2B company into e-commerce, or e-commerce taking a significant part of their business. But many people have tried and with no success. Okay, so I'm coming to this point. Okay. So the key thing is we have information overloaded in the internet space at this point of time, especially the past few years. The amount of data is exponentially growth in the past few years. Every week, every month, it doubles the number of data. So we kind of learn a lot about e-commerce, but there again, there is this class of academics and practitioner. And when I say that, it doesn't mean we talk about academics in school, but in fact, a lot of academics are actually in business. They can tell you about how eBay works, how Carousel works, how Q10 works, how Alibaba works, how Taobao works, or how Tmall works, right? Or even in a more recent couple of years, things like Facebook Live, and they'll be able to be a good commentator. They always comment about, yeah, you can do this, this is what you can do, blah, 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 but they never put that in practice. They never do it themselves, and they have never, okay, they probably have sold a couple of items, hundreds maybe thousands, I don't know, right? So for me, when I do my e-commerce business, for the first 5 years, I sold more than 2 million items online. And I just recently started e-commerce again, but in a very, very niche field. Maybe I'll talk about it later, right? Then we talk about practitioner. So in all business, we need to practice, we need to do, we need to fail, we need to learn, and we become a better business, whether in the e-business or whether in the traditional business. So imagine you are a provision shop, right? Okay, standard stuff, rice, oil, drinks, ice cream, cigarettes, things like that. But sometimes you have items that you don't know whether you can sell or not, right? So you order from the supplier and you learn it through trial and error sometimes. And as you grow, you start to learn from experience. So in e-commerce, it's the same. Without putting that into practice, it will never work. Fair? Okay, let me go to the next one. The key is a lot of people have tried, right? And says, yes, Philip, I have an e-store. I built it 5 years ago. I have get probably $20 sales over the past 6 months, right? For the past 3 months, I got nothing. Or maybe for the past 3 months, I got a couple of $1,000s. It's not even 1% of my revenue in the company. So what do I do, right? So the key thing is this. First, don't give up. If you have always done it that way, it's probably wrong, right? So e-commerce is both a science and an art, right? So as what Bernard have shared just now, storytelling, photos, things like that are important. But the key also is really try and try and try. If you don't give up, one day you'll be successful, right? So the next thing is you must set your expectation right, right? So if you don't have an expectation, then it won't work. But I showed you this cartoon because of the quotation. So the new guy around here. Okay, so anyway, I got a question or something. That is not moving. Oh, is it moving? We'll share. Okay, just hang on for a while. This one is the share is not easy. Can you all see now? Okay, I think cool. Okay, so anyway, we're just actually at the second slide. So no worries about that. So the third slide, actually, we're talking about don't give up, right? So this is the third slide. So let me show you this, right? So you see, the key thing is sometimes we have ridiculous expectation. You build a website for a couple of $1,000s, maybe a few hundred, maybe you build it yourself. Maybe you spend $10,000, $15,000, $20,000, right? And some companies probably spend $60,000, $100,000 on the website with a lot of features, different features. But the key thing is this: if you are a retailer, if you open a store like a 7-Eleven or a provision store, easily with rental, with manpower costs, with your stock, your shelving, your renovation, it costs you a few $100,000. That gives you that 100% revenue. The key is when you build a website, now amount of effort a lot of companies put, they don't put enough effort into their e-commerce. And by putting a $5,000, leaving the e-store there and hoping that somebody will click, find their website and click and buy something, I think that don't work. I can guarantee you it won't work, right? So if your expectation is it will grow, your e-commerce business will grow 10, 20, 30% year on year, or take over 30% of your current revenue of your current business model, then are you putting 30% effort, including investment, including manpower, including research, and including learning into e-commerce? I believe most of you do, right? So, okay. The key is, what if we don't need e-commerce or we don't have e-commerce? I'm not going to scare you. This is when I started e-commerce, it was really amazing. It was really eye-opener for me. Without looking at the customer face, without interaction, money is first sent to you before you actually send your goods out, right? So I'm probably those people around my age, or maybe slightly 5 or 10 years younger than me, will have probably heard about this, right? So the internet or the e-commerce have made many millionaires, and you actually make money in your pajamas. So the key thing is this: when I mentioned about what I did previously, every morning when I wake up, right, I actually see transactions and money into my PayPal account, because most, if not all, my clients are actually in US, in UK, some in Australia, Germany, and things like that. So as I mentioned, I don't sell to Singapore because of the GST, because of the meetup and things like that. So the key is e-commerce been around for at least 25 years. If you still don't engage into e-commerce, I think it probably is a sunset business. But I think every business can go into e-commerce, whether you are a consumer product, whether in a B2B product. So I'm going to probably give you a few skills to start off, to get something going in terms of your e-commerce. If you have zero sales at this point of time, probably the next few slides can give you some insights. So I'm not going to bore you in all the theoretical terms in e-commerce or what modules and things like that, right? So as I start my presentation about academics and practitioner, you need to try and you need to learn and put into practice and learn it yourself, because all business is different. Okay. So the first thing to do, right, is to monkey see and monkey do. So in your own industry, look at whoever is doing well, you think is doing well in e-commerce, right? Whether you are a provision store, if you are a provision store, look at Cold Storage online, look at RedMart, look at different online stores that is selling grocery, for example. If you are a retailer, look at ASOS, look at many other e-commerce that is doing well. So this is first, I must say, don't copy others people's IP, like description, photos, and things like that. You see, you improvise, you learn, and you change. Okay, so please respect others people's intellectual property. Okay, so first thing is monkey see, monkey do. Copy first, right? So follow the businesses who are successfully embarked on the market trends. So look at their trends, look at how they do. You know, there are always reports online or newspaper and things like that. How did they fare in terms of the e-commerce? And actually in this whole COVID, it changes and it shifts a lot of consumer buying behavior. A lot of sales is gone through e-commerce. I don't want to talk about mobile commerce and things like that. How do I become successful in e-commerce? Number one, monkey see, monkey do. Okay. So the next thing is, as Clark Terry said, right? You imitate, you assimilate, and you innovate. You change it so that it become your style. You become you, right? Okay, so let's do a small little game. Okay, what is this? So come on, I need some answer to that.
Scissors.
Scissors, okay, cool. Anyone else? Right. So what I'm going to show you is a very important point. Okay, what about this? What is this? Hey guys, it's Zoom. You can actually unmute and speak as well.
Scissors.
Scissors again. Okay, so let me tell you what is actually this, right? So you see the screen? It's actually called the portable stainless steel corrosion-free fishing braided line scissors. This is a specialized scissors that actually cut a fishing line, not just any fishing line, but a braided fishing line. A braided fishing line can be 5 strain, can be 8 strain, can be 12 strain. So 12 different small little strain of lines braided into one fishing line. The main thing is to give the strength, and for this, basically the line will increase the strength and prevent the corrosion and the cut. If let's say you go to the rocks and things like that. So this is a specialized scissors for fishing. Okay. So what about this? Anyone? Another pair of scissors. Okay, cool. Okay, so this scissors is called the lightweight aluminum plant pruning gardening scissors. So actually, you look at the blade, it's very different. It is for plant pruning. That means you do gardening with this pair of scissors, but not the three first word. It's called the lightweight aluminum plant pruning gardening scissors. So when I'm telling this, you take note of the keywords as well. And when you post, whether on Carousel, whether on your own website, because if you are a hardware store and you sell probably 8-10 types of different scissors, your title will only be one pair of scissors. So it don't make sense, right? Okay, whoop. This Okay, obviously you're going to tell me it's going to be another pair of scissors, right? Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with this. This, again, is not just any scissors. It's called the fishing lure split ring opening, hook removing, stainless steel line cutting fishing scissors. Okay, so anyway, all these products, other than the gardening scissors, I've sold this. So this is not keyword spamming. On eBay, there's a strict rule of keyword spamming. So keyword spamming is like, okay, if you sell a Samsung phone, then in your description, you say, this is not an iPhone. This is not a Huawei phone. So you take opportunity for people who search iPhone to come to your listing. This is called keyword spamming. But when you understand your product enough, then you are able to become a specialist or expert. Later I'll share a bit more. So this pair of scissors, right? It's like our keychain where you put your key rings. And it's because it's very small and tiny. It's very difficult to split open to change the hook or hook it into the lure. That's why this pair of scissors have a small little hook in the front where you can click, and where the split ring will open so that you can change the hook or you can change the lure. Okay. So obviously these are scissors as well, right? So actually these are Safety Children Art and Craft. Sorry, there's a spelling mistake there. So art and craft paper, decorative aging, scrapbooking scissors, right? So this is for designing, it's for art and craft. Actually, a lot of us will probably use it before, or our children have used it for art and craft and things like that, or doing book scrapping. So this is not just any scissors, okay? So of course, when you look at this, these are different types of scissors. I got one of my good friend, Amy, who is in the baby product business. Probably the first one she will know is for baby, with the round edge so that you don't poke the baby and things like that, right? You have a kitchen scissors that can cut chicken. You have the tailor scissors that cut cloth. Of course, I'm trying to, the screen is very small, right? So I don't want to put the full description for every one of them. And of course, our hairdressers don't use a tailor scissors to cut our hair, right? Obviously, I don't have much hair left in that sense. Nope. And very one of the items that sold very well many years ago was a left-hander scissors. So if you are a left-hander, you know how difficult is it if you get a pair of right-handed scissors, you can't fit the hole properly because of the angle, right? And of course, recently there's about the steel and oxidizing and things like that. They have scissors made by ceramic, right? So this, okay, so what I'm trying to, what am I trying to drive, right? So you either become an expert or become an entertainer, right? So everyone talks about Facebook Live recently, right? Or probably the last 2-3 years or so, Facebook, where they started the live module where you can actually show where you're live. It changes e-commerce tremendously. And of course, we know these two guys, right? Our Mai Yuke, Wang Lei, and of course, Mark Lee is also now just recently also going into food with Far Ocean, or I think it's Far Ocean, yes, correct. So the key thing is this: a lot of us are not celebrities. Wang Lei is a celebrity. A lot of people know him. He's very entertaining, very fun, but a lot of vulgarity. And that's more entertaining, but it's e-commerce through entertainment, right? Mark Lee as well. So unless the guys that is within this room or this Zoom meeting, you are a celebrity, I think we better put our feet on the ground and say that we either become an expert or a specialist in our field so that we can actually sell and move products through the online space. Okay. So back to a bit of my story. I'm not bragging or whatever. I'm just trying to share more because I think that we are very behind in terms of Singapore. although we have a few key advantages, right? Number one, Singapore is a major port, whether it's airport, whether it's a seaport. So in terms of logistics, and we have almost, sorry, is there any? Okay. So anyway, other than Singapore Post, we have at least another 8 different global country posts like Swiss Post, Hong Kong Post, Australian Post, having offices in Singapore. So in terms of connectivity, we could have, if we have taken the advantage as the whole of country, as a country as a whole, on the e-commerce or global commerce in that sense, right? But we have missed out in that portion. Okay. So when you become an expert in your specific field, whether you are selling baby products, whether you're selling grocery, whether you're selling fishing items, right? You're able to predict upcoming changes so that you can adapt and you can start ordering, you can start customizing some products that is coming into the market. You are able to provide knowledge about your product. So people like to buy from a expert. So the key thing is this: you think about a hawker center that you like, right? And most of the time, or at least more than half the time, if you go to that particular hawker center, right, that you like, you will order likely from that 2-3 stores that you like. Why? Because most of the time, their food is good, and they are a specialist in that food, in that sense, right? If you normally, if you go to a hawker store that sells both char kway teow, char hae mee, prawn noodle, wonton mee, and a lot of different noodles, right? Likely it's not going to taste good, right? And the queue usually is not going to be long, right? So the key thing is consumers and businesses like to buy from an expert. So in my eBay days, I have at least 7 different accounts. I sell fishing items that just now I mentioned to you, from fishing lures to hooks to lines to different items. So I'm able to tell a client when they ask, right? Say, okay, I live in Arizona, in USA. I have a lake behind my house that have rainbow trout or whatever the fish species is. I'm able to recommend him what lure, what line, what reel, what rod to use, right? And obviously, most of the time they'll buy from me because I'm the specialist and they can come to me in that if they have doubts, right? So this is how you create the expertise in e-commerce. I will just move on. So it comes to this point about e-commerce system as the topic mentioned, right? So there is more than just e-store or your own website in terms of e-commerce. I'll just go through one at a time. In an e-store, which typically we know www.fishinglure.com, for example, or babygoods.com, for example, or office.com, for example. These are called e-stores, where you buy specific items through the merchant own shop space or shop front, we call it, right? So this is the e-store. The advantage is this. The advantage of this is you have a control over what you list and what you want to sell, how much discounts to give, what kind of policy to, in terms of shipping, in terms of returns, in terms of payments. You are able to control that, right? The cons about this is that there are billions of domain names, websites, e-commerce stores that is like you. So how do you then get people into your store? Okay, so this is another great monster altogether. So I'll just move to the next one. We talk about the next huge part of it, which is the social commerce. I can't put everything into this page, but WhatsApp commerce or WhatsApp business is very new. Couple of years. They are recently launched. They're going to launch payments. They are already testing WhatsApp payment or WhatsApp wallet in the WhatsApp business or in WhatsApp user. right? We all know about Facebook Marketplace, where you can list items and goes to the marketplace. Traffic's not fantastic, but you can also post in Facebook many different ways. One or the other, on the bottom corner, you see Facebook Live, which is just now I shared a bit on Michael and Mark Lee and things like that. So on Facebook, there are different ways to do it as well. So recently, I started to be very interested in this thing called Thai amulet. So it's basically a religious amulet that you wear, and a $20 billion per year business. So I was I was just doing all my research and things like that. So on Facebook alone, you can do war bid, you can do a fixed price. So basically you post something, you post a pen on Facebook and says that this one box for $9.90, interested, please PM me. So this might happen. Or you can say, I have this box, the start bid is $1, bid on the comment. I'll close bid at 2359 tomorrow, and then whoever bid the highest get it. On Facebook, there are many ways to do it. Of course, Instagram, the young people love it. There are a lot of people doing research of the items that they like or they want to buy online on Instagram. In China, we have the WeChat, and of course, we look at a lot of videos on TikTok. I know of a couple of friends in China who basically sell items only on TikTok, right? So basically, when TikTok came in a couple of years ago, it's not just become an entertainment, but also for businesses or individuals to promote their items on TikTok and collect orders through Alipay and things like that. So on the social commerce, the key thing is social, right? People that have like-minded comes together, right? So in Singapore context, what will be interesting will be that maybe we have a social commerce or social platform that is run by trade association, like for example, Tampines North neighborhood fish, you can get your wet market store from this community, so to speak, right? The other part will be like interest group and community apps in terms of social commerce. For example, pets owner get together, whiskey drinker sharing and also trading their whiskey on a social, your own marketplace, right? So I move a bit further. Another place called the external marketplaces. So we all know that RedMart, Shopee, Lazada, of course, Carousel is doing fantastically well. If you're in food business, you can't know that you won't forget people like Food Panda and Deliveroo, and especially during COVID, right? They've been doing fantastically well. Q10 as well, right? So the key thing is on e-commerce, there are many, many different platforms, different channels for you to tap. Places. There's a lot more for B2B. So I'll give you an example, right? So you sometimes see your coffee uncle in the coffee shop lifting up, like, so for my age, right, lifting up his glasses, looking at his mobile phone and start poking. And you start thinking, uncle, how come you now don't do your business and start playing games? Actually, it's not so much that, right? So now a lot of these huge companies or the bigger companies, they provide mobile apps or online ordering for these coffee shops, clients, provision shop, the B2B sides of their clients, when they actually just place their order on the mobile phone, and that saves them in terms of productivity, in terms of cost for van sales. So if you remember in the other days, a lot of salesmen goes to individual retail store, coffee shop to just take order, go back, process the order, maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, the goods will be sent to them, right? But nowadays, you don't even need to do that anymore, because this is the internet marketplaces are created to facilitate the ordering process. Of course, there's increasing of the productivity, saving manpower, saving costs, and also the most important part of it is the data collection of you're able to predict your clients' ordering patterns as well. I'll move on. The other very huge part that we missed out, as I mentioned just now, was global commerce, right? In Singapore context, we have all the goods that we need. We have, and especially, of course, I'm not saying the government song in a sense. We are multiracial. You got Indian, you got Malay, you got Chinese, you got whatever from different countries. So you see, the key thing is we have no short of supply of goods, right? So how can we then tap on the global commerce? And because we are already a very international city, so to collect US dollars, to collect British pounds or Australian dollars, that's no issue, right? So Amazon, you can join them for their global site, which you sell mainly to US and the other different countries, or you can join them locally, like Amazon Prime. How about Tmall, Alibaba, is JD, is China, but all of them have a different segment that you target. So branded one, so like a branded store or trusted store, so to speak, because there was more complaint on Taobao selling fakes or inferior products in a sense. But of course, now it changes quite a lot. JD, huge as well. So there are some sellers in China that already started. So about 8 years ago, when I went to Shanghai together with IE Singapore to explore e-commerce, I remember Unisoy. Unisoy, if you guys know, selling the soya bean, soya milk powder, right? So it goes into sachet and things like that. They're already there in China and they're doing fantastically well. So of course, Prima Deli, the Laksa, the instant noodle, right? It's one of the world famous, so-called touted as the best instant noodle in the world, right? They're also on Tmall and different China marketplaces already. Of course, I mentioned about eBay. Alibaba is more on B2B. I have a couple of clients who are on Alibaba as well. They focuses on B2B. So in fact, they were there as a Singaporean company, but sometimes their goods are from China and they supply to Singapore, India, Pakistan, which they will never be able to attract if they only just have their own e-store. The key thing about global commerce or marketplaces like Lazada and the one that I've mentioned before is this, right? You treat them, if you are a retailer, you treat them like a shopping mall where there are multiple different stores in the shopping mall. But the key thing is they give you the traffic, they give you the people that are already willing to buy, right? Of course, with that, if you pay a shopping mall rental, obviously you will need to pay this platform a fee, whether it's a final value fee where you sell the goods, or they sometimes will charge you a money fee, sometimes they will charge you a listing fee, sometimes they charge you all the fees, right? So eBay, I stopped eBay because I was a bit angry with them in the sense that they charged me when I open a store, I need to pay a fee. When I list, I need to pay a listing fee. When I promote, I need a promote fee. If I sell my products, I have to pay a final value fee. But anyway, that's passed already. I think they've changed quite a bit, but the traffic is still there. One very interesting one that I've never tried before was Wish. If you look at some items and sometimes you float up on your Facebook page or your Google page, right, with Wish, and you're just amazed that you can buy something at $2 with a shipping of $1.50 and things like that. It's just totally amazing. So this is e-commerce in terms of global commerce. I'll come to a few more. Mobile apps, right? Don't do mobile app for the sake of doing mobile apps, right? So you must have a reason why you want to create a mobile app. So I have a client who the first screen is called DAFCO. So basically, they sell waterproofing cement and things like that. They have an app as well. So the app is to more for consumer, and at the same time, they actually have a back end for a B2B for their contractors to earn points and to do ordering as well, right? The center one is called the Pekka. This is the social commerce that I mentioned to you. Pekka is like a social commerce app where pet lovers come together, pets lover trade together, and then on the app you can record your vaccination of your pets, the name of your pet, what pet you keep, things like that. So it's very close loop kind of thing. And this read your birthday or things like that for as cheap as $9.90, renminbi or things like that. Of course, in the app, they start upselling you and tell you more things, and you want a more detailed face-to-face interaction, like us doing Zoom in a sense, right? So interesting, right? Okay. Very important part of the e-commerce system. So I probably shared about 7 or 8 different systems, right, in e-commerce. The other part is how do you integrate your offline operations as well, right? People and in terms of like logistics and things like that. So the right-hand corner you can see is Woolworths, which is a grocery store, very famous in Australia. They now have a click and collect. So basically you order and then you go to this parcel locker, which is 3 different temperature: room temperature, chill temperature, and also frozen temperature. So the first one that I saw was probably about 10 years ago, was POC by Coles, which is the competitor. So things like that is already happening. Are you one of them? I don't know, right? So the key thing is how do you then integrate part of your online store, for example, like click and collect. How do you do that with your current technology system that you have and your operation? So always start with the end in mind. The next thing on the very important front of e-commerce is up and coming, called the wallets and the payments, right? So now cryptocurrency is getting more and more receptive, right? So more and more people owns Bitcoin, Ethereum, and things like that. So payments like this start to become more popular. So if you realize, I think if I remember correctly, it's called the Samsung S10. It actually comes with a crypto wallet that is inbuilt in the phone. So imagine a company that's so big, that is very innovative in terms of different phone models. Why would they incorporate something that people will use, right? So obviously the trend is already coming. So think about it. Other than collecting Singapore dollars, right, in cash, right, we now have PayLah, PayNow, and things like that. Do you also collect things like PromoPay, GrabPay, WeChat Pay, Alipay, and even cryptocurrency? So think about how this system can come to you, right? I think it's a bit confusing to you guys now, so many different systems, right? But one important thing that I want to drive across is most of the time, less is more. So as I mentioned, right, you don't see Wang Lei trying to sell fish both on Facebook Live, then goes to Instagram, then goes to TikTok, then goes to e-commerce, then goes to Q10, then goes to everywhere, right? If you do it right, in fact, just a couple, 1, 2, or 3 system might already work wonders for you for a start, right? So the key thing is a lot of SME, a lot of customers that come to me in terms of how to go into e-business and e-commerce, right? They wanted almost everything, right? I want an e-store, I want to go to Facebook, I want an Instagram, and you actually can look at a lot of different websites, right? They have to just also on social media, they can have 5, 6 different logos, but they have no time, they have no people to manage their social media, and likewise in e-commerce it's even worse, right? So if you don't have that resource, or you are not going to allocate the amount of resources into it, I can tell you frankly, most likely you're going to fail, right? So the key thing is, if you are able to, you want to start on something, start with one, right? If you really ask me honest opinion, right? Your e-commerce store or your main web page is just for marketing or to make you feel good. I don't even think that a lot of people will actually find your website unless they look at your name card, which means they already know you. So there's no point they go to your website, right? So for you to drive traffic to your website, it will cost you a lot of money. My suggestion is to start off with marketplaces, start off with something that will relate and immediately transform or save you money. For example, if you are a B2B company, look at how to do an internal marketplace where you can use less manpower, create more efficiency in terms of the whole process from the customer order to the customer receiving the goods. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a story about this guy called Apui. Anyway, my nickname previously when I was very young, they call me Apui anyway. I'm not okay. So this guy called Apui owns a durian store, right? So he wanted to go into e-commerce and says, okay, so how do I do it, right? So the current issue is that they have one store and they only sell it locally and in a fruit market, right? It can be Geylang, can be in a Toa Payoh wet market or things like that. So the next thing is, how do I go digital, right? And to be honest, most bosses will say, let's get an e-store called the apuidurian.com, right? The key is when they start this, very unlikely you're going to get sales unless you start spending a lot of money on Google Ads and things like that to promote your e-store. And of course, to supplement this, it may work or it actually will work very well if you get your regulars who actually travel, let's say they travel 20 minutes or 30 minutes to your store to get the fresh durian. Instead, every time you sell them the durian physically and put in the red plastic bag, give them a card and says that, no, look, we now have a website that you can order directly, and this is a coupon code. So the keyword is the coupon code. You induce your current customer from an offline customer and turn them into an online customer. At the same time, you do promotion every once in a while. You're able to track them whether they are buying from you and continuously buying from you or not. The next good progression is to start a simple Facebook page with a Facebook store. I'm not going to sell Koyo here. I mean, we do a system that actually can integrate your e-store with your Facebook store and all your e-commerce store and things like that. So one of the next steps that you can do is to do a Facebook page and a Facebook store and start selling. Oh, today we have new Mao Shan Wang, take pictures, and of course use whatever you have learned from Burger about storytelling. You know, the Mao Shan Wang come from Pahang and blah blah blah. Open, wow, yellow, very nice, and things like that. You know, record videos like that to induce buying. I mean, you may not receive 100% of your customer from online. After they see your post, they look at your story, or they look at the yellow meat, they feel very nice. They'll drive all the way to your store in Geylang and buy a durian, which is also a good thing, right? So, okay. One other good progression is WhatsApp. So remember I was talking about WhatsApp business. So in WhatsApp business, what you can do is you do a lot of communication through WhatsApp, but it can be automated through this system. So in Apui's sense, so you can set certain parameters. So every time I order a durian, I will say, okay, let's go to Apui WhatsApp and says, hey, we got new durian today. So automatically, anybody who posts anything and asks a question, it will come up with today we have Mao Shan Wang got 224, got this. The price is this. Then the next message can be a pop-up and says, hey, we got offer now. You order 2, get 1 free or whatever is it. So promotion inducing purchase on the spot is very important. Okay. The next thing is then everyone will say, okay, now that I have a e-store, I have a Facebook store, I have a WhatsApp store that integrated can I now then have a mobile app, right? So the key thing is, why do you need a mobile app? The main thing is, a lot of people don't look at their Facebook as often now, in that sense. Of course, through WhatsApp, you can send them messages and things like that. But if they are willing to download your app, you can actually push notification to them. And of course, through a mobile app, that later I'll share a bit more. I got 5 minutes left, so I'll try to finish this up. With loyalty points and things like that. Okay, the next part is called the pre-ordering, right? You can actually do pre-ordering through mobile apps and things like that that I mentioned. You also can integrate the system to offline advertising. So because you got a main store in Geylang, now you have a big digital signage that you can actually control the whatever to be displayed on the digital display that is linked to the store, and maybe create a QR code as well when the store is closed. People can actually scan the QR code and order for tomorrow, in that sense, right? Okay. So imagine he have other people, his friends also selling durians or selling other fruits. He can then create, or maybe the association called the Singapore Durian Association or Singapore Fruit Seller Association, come out with a marketplace when all Singaporeans who wanted to buy fruits can go to these people, but not just from one seller like RedMart or things like that, but actually from a collective different seller that you like. For example, you like to buy from Apui durian, you like to buy mangosteen for another guy called Hassan or whatever is that. So imagine if this Apui start to have a lot of outlets, then he can use the internal marketplace to take ordering of plastic bag. You know, the key thing is when you look at actual operations, a lot of issues comes. I need change, I need I need a plastic bag, I need this. So Upgrade will overwhelm with all these operational issues. But if you are able to do it digitally, then you can save a lot of time. Okay. Then it goes to online marketplace, start to sell on Lazada, Qingtan, RedMart, or maybe even Tmall, frozen Mao Shan to China, right? So things like that. They create loyalty points through an e-wallet when you integrate to your mobile app and things like that. And last but not least, AI to predict the market prices, to predict these outlets, different outlets sales and consumer behavior. Last but not least, he can integrate to his accounting system, records, and things like that, so that it becomes a holistic business. I'll share the slide with you if you all need the slides. It's not really a lot of information. It's quite a lot of information, but it's, I think, easy to understand. One of these very important chart is one of the system that I created. It's basically a step to which you look at different numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's probably a good indication of an SME going digital, probably how it will integrate. But I don't suggest any business to go into everything because it's almost impossible to manage, right? So the last but not least, I just want to go into this part. I know the government is giving a lot of grants, but the current grant that the government gives have a very limited scope. Of course, we can do EDG and things like that. The key is don't get yourself into just wanting the government grant. Understand what you want to do in terms of your e-business, in terms of e-commerce. Then you talk to consultants, SGBC for the matter, you want to talk to us, I think it's fine as well, to look at then how can we address your new business model or the shift of your business, right? Get focused. Don't go in after I share these 50 slides with the 10 different types of module and start going into your office and start changing everything, right? Just focus on one key portion of the e-business because e-business is really, really huge. From B2C, from social to B2B. With that, thank you very much, guys. If you have questions, I will take them. Thank you.
Thank you, Philip. Thank you, Philip. Right now we will have a Q&A for Philip. If there are any questions, please post in the chat itself.
What? Okay, so I know Jonathan is asking a question that he already saw the video many times, right? People have always asked me about this. It's quite embarrassing to me, but if you really want, I can probably share this video with you. Let me try to find.
I think maybe you don't need to show the video. You can just share about what how that came about. As in the
okay,
how
anyway,
this, yeah.
it was an amazing story. So actually, I started my eBay journey in a very strange way, right? So I was actually keeping fighting fish, but every time I like something, I become a crazy person. I start buying more and more, right? So my whole HDB flat is full of fighting fish, but it can cost me something from $20 to $200 each fish, right? The key is then I was thinking, why don't I breed some of the fish myself? So that's how I go into eBay and start finding how books about fighting fish, right? So if these books, I bought 2 books from eBay, and when I read these 2 books, there's this thing called the Indian almond leaf, right? So it's all along behind the airport, that straight long road. There's tons of trees there. There's a plantation, so to speak, in East Coast Park. And when previously I lived in Toa Payoh, there is 3 huge trees in front of my door, in front of my house, right? So these are actually Indian almond leaf. I say, okay lah. So I bought something on eBay. I just pick up some of these leaves and I put in the package and says Indian almond leaf for breeding fighting fish, right? In the description, I say you reduce pH level to 5.5, which is the actually equivalent to the Amazon River and whatever nonsense we call it. So I was quite amazed. Within like 3 hours, the first package was sold. So I was featured a few times on eBay, on Taobao, on different media in a sense on this story. So basically, I sold, I think, quite a few hundred of thousand pieces. So now I don't longer sell it, but previously, I think about 8, 10, 15, 12 years ago, when I start teaching about eBay, I always tell this story. So a lot of my students actually start selling Indian almond leaf on Carousel, on eBay, and things like that. So I don't compete with them anymore. So previously it was 10 pieces for $19.90 US dollars. So okay lah, very interesting. Okay.
So we have our second question. So how do you find ideas on what to sell on eBay? And
Okay.
how do you know it will be a good product to be sold?
Okay, so eBay is quite amazing, right? So actually a lot of marketplaces have this as well. But I think eBay have taken away this. Previously, okay, so I'm a top seller, one of the top seller in eBay Singapore, right? So okay, I'll talk about that story in a while. But most of the time, there is a category called the hot item. So you actually go to eBay and look for hot items. You actually see what are the items that is coming. The season is coming. For example, now, right, in July, you are preparing for autumn. So clothing for autumn, you don't want to sell slippers, singlets at this point of time because this is not the season in US. So these are the ways that you look at it. And one very amazing feature on eBay is that you can actually search a product, and then you, under the advanced search, you can click completed items. So meaning items that is closed, and it will show you whether it is sold or not sold. So you do your research before you say what can be sold. I always suggest that you sell something that you like and you have some knowledge on eBay, rather than you say, oh, I think fishing, as Philip mentioned, can sell, and you start selling fishing items, but you have not caught a fish before, or you have not fished anything before, or you have no idea what fishing is. So I think that's not wise to do it. You start with something that you like, something that you know. Does it make sense?
Thank you, Philip. Is there any more questions from the floor? If not, thank you, Philip, for sharing today. So right now, give me a moment. Yeah. So thank you everyone for today. So right now, can everyone on your camera, and we'll take a photo. So, okay, smile everyone. Okay, thank you everyone. We come to the end of the seminar for today. So before you leave, please go to this link over here to give us some feedback, and all feedback itself will be taken to improve upon the webinars that we have moving forward. Okay. So last up, please follow us on these links itself. Post the link in the chat shortly. So follow us and to have our event updates. And if you have any questions, please email us at admin@syea.cc. So take care, everyone. And
Ciao.
Yeah, ciao, guys. Thank you everyone for today. And I will post those links in the chat right now. And if anyone would like to have the slides, please leave your email with me as well. Sorry guys, so the links, there's some problem with the links. So just use this link instead. Thank you. So I'll leave this chat room open for another 5 minutes, then we'll close it after that. Do remember to add us on WhatsApp as well. So the links is listed in the chat as well. Thank you, everyone. I'll now close the chat. So see you all next time. Bye bye.